All righty, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Do me a favor, if you don't have a pad and pen in front of you, please grab one, and got a few things you may want to write down tonight. And I know April's going to go into some detail with her training, but how is everybody? Everybody good? It's summer's winding down, even here in Florida, even though we do have it year round. But I hope you guys had as cool a weekend as we did. I just wish everybody, had it's, one thing, we get asked a lot in this business, everybody kind of wants to know, what's the secret? Everybody thinks there's a secret to the business. And all I could tell you is, if there was one secret and we get paid on other people to do this business, why would we ever keep it a secret? Okay, it's just like we would just scream from every mountaintop, but there are some things that you may think are a secret. And the secret is this: you and I already know how to do this business. You already have the skills to do this business, because if you can log into Zoom, you have more than enough skill to do this business, because the only thing you have to be able to do in this business is communicate with another person. Okay, just talk to another person about your product or your business, or both. And what's really funny is we look for the hardest ways we can possibly think of to do this business. We do everything in the world we can to complicate it. We do everything in the world we can to delay the work. April and I were talking this week, and we're coming into the season of what I call coaching season, where everybody's doing their freebie, their $7 special, their $10 special. It's coaching season, okay? Like, the summer's winding down, and there's a lot of them, man. I mean, a lot. And I shared a little bit last week about it, but my question is this: if everybody spends every free hour watching coaching, when are you building your business? It's like, if you're reading the book, then you're not doing the business. If you're attending a coaching session, you're not doing the business. And I'm all for mentoring. Okay. April and I were mentored by great people. Okay. We're all for that, but we tend to make the business harder than it needs to be, because the only thing you and I need to be willing to do is talk to another person about what we have. That's it. And one of the things April and I we're realizing, I'm looking to play pickleball like every night if I can. Okay, day or night, it doesn't matter. Why? Well, because I'm always meeting new people when I play. So when I play, I get better, but I'm meeting new people. Okay, April's always had that with tennis. Okay, where when I gave up playing, hockey and baseball and softball, 30 years ago, that aspect of things went away from me. So I'm getting excited because I found a game that I like. I'm getting better at it as I watch YouTube videos and play it, but I'm meeting people that I can talk to about it. Now, I share that with you to share this. Whenever you go somewhere, especially if you're going somewhere to have fun, okay, whether it's a vacation, whether it's a quick getaway, like we did a 3-day getaway, okay, and we decided to do something different. Most of you see our posts, we're generally at New Smyrna Beach about every weekend, okay, or 3 out of 4 weekends. That's kind of what we do to have fun at the end of the week. And this time we decide, what, we're still going to go where there's water, but let's go somewhere else. And we went down to a town called Tequista. I may not be pronouncing that properly, but it's near Jupiter, Florida. It's on the East Coast, a couple hours south of where we are. And we had a blast. Okay. And we met, the hotel only has 30 rooms. It's right on the water, but it's probably I don't know, 75, 80 years old. It's one of these boutique hotels on the water. And what was really neat is most of the people staying were there for a reason, like an event or something, whether it was a wedding, a sweet 16, they were there for an event and was spending time in the pool, at the pool. And we met a lot of people while we were chilling out ourselves and got to share our product and opportunity with people that, guess what? We're in Florida. They're formerly from New York. What a surprise. New Yorkers living in Florida. I've never heard that one before, you know? And we find out they live over in the Tampa area. They were just getting away, you know, for a little bit of a break, but they also, a relative was getting married. And it ends up one of the ladies that we're talking to that was very friendly has an autistic daughter that's about 5 years old. And, you know, one conversation leads to another. And before you know, April and her, they're exchanging numbers, Facebook friends, and we got somebody to start, you know, working on for the business. But, you know, our prime concern is, and we gave them, you know, we're sending them a free bottle of Nerf 2. Our prime concern is to see if we can do anything to help her with her daughter. Okay, that's the primary thing. And, you know, if that happens, the rest will take care of itself. You don't have to press it. Okay. But that's the prime concern. Now, I'm sharing that with you because everything that you and I do is an event. And we should never attend or go to an event and not be prepared to make friends first. Okay. You got to make friends. You know, the business and product conversation that we had this weekend, this family, there were probably 20 or 25 family members at that pool. Okay. If we can do something for this little girl or the mom raising the little girl or the grandmother, those are the three that we were talking to. The whole family's going to know about it. It was that other couple they met at the pool when they went to the wedding. You know what I mean? It's going to be a conversation like that and an enormous warm market. Okay. So April and I have always planned our fun with intentions of making new friends. And what happens when you make new friends? Do you not ask where you're from or where you grew up? Do you not ask, what do you do? You know, for a living, like what's your back? What do you do? Those are very typical. And obviously, when you're our age, you're asking about children and grandchildren. Okay, that's a very common, you know, conversation. And once you're friends, things happen naturally. You don't have to force them to happen. And I'm sharing that with you because sometimes I think we overcomplicate what we need to do this business. And the only thing that we need to do this business is get into a conversation with another person, but not like a salesperson. Okay. It needs to come naturally. It needs to come intentionally. It needs to come from the heart where you really want to help. Whether it's a child, whether it's an illness, whether it's a financial condition, whatever it is. And people they can feel you. You know, they can sense it. They know. They just, you know, just like, you know, okay, if somebody's getting ready to pitch you, or if somebody's taking a real interest in you and offering something that could be helpful to you, okay, that it's so important. So tonight's topic, what we want to talk a little bit about is, besides doing the day-to-day things that we're supposed to be doing, which is what? Nothing more than sharing our product with a new person and sharing our business with a new person. That's what we're supposed to be doing every day. But part of that is building for events. And one thing I've noticed with LifeVantage, okay, and this didn't happen in our old company, okay, and maybe because from the very beginning, we were taught to build for events, and we did, okay, we always were trained where if somebody's going through the trouble of organizing an event, a presentation or a training, and all I had to do to take advantage of it was either pay $5 or $10 or put fannies in the seats, man, I'm all in. Like, that's nothing. I don't need to I don't need to get the room, get the hotel. I don't need to do nothing. Okay, other than, and then we would get into contests, both internally and externally, with, okay, our responsibility is to put fannies in the seats. So now we have Zoom. So there's two responsibilities. For live events, we're putting fannies in the seats. And for online events, we're filling the Hollywood squares. Okay, that's the two responsibilities. Okay, is I want to see my people on the Hollywood squares. Okay, I want to see my guest, and I'll get to that in a second when I talk about the launch coming up next week. Okay, and April's probably going to talk about that too. But so think about this, folks, and be honest. Okay, if you look at the Big Blue calendar, it's just mind-boggling how many events are posted. Okay, it used to be empty. Like, before we got here, I heard it was always full. When we joined the company, it was mostly empty, and now it's starting to fill up again. Okay, so I guess it just goes through cycles. I don't know, but you know, you should always look at Big Blue to see what's going on. But April and I, we're going to talk to you mostly, and this applies to all groups. I don't care if you're in Canada, I don't care if you're in Europe, it doesn't matter where you are. I'm going to mention some things that our team in the United States are involved with. But if I say Orlando, you may think of, you know, Edmonton or you know, or Montreal or Quebec or wherever. Okay, just think about where it is by you. And I'm going to talk about a couple things. Local, meaning within your own driving distance. Okay. National, meaning in your country where you're doing business. And globally, meaning wherever you know anyone in the world. And also online. Okay, and we have a big online event coming next week with our collagen launch on Monday night. Okay, a week from tomorrow. So let me just go to a slide. I only got one slide for you, so I'm just going to go to one slide. Okay, so building for events. If you want a job summary, okay, and you own a business, you don't have a job. None of us has a job, okay, unless we have a job outside of LV. But your responsibility in this business, okay, is building for events. And what do I mean by building for events? Making sure you're getting eyes into and on the event. Okay, that's what I mean by it. Okay, making sure that there's new fannies in the seats if it's a live event, and there's new eyeballs on the screen if it's a virtual event. And there's no reason for you to do that. I don't care if you have to skip a training that you're scheduled to watch, or blow off a Higdon thing, or blow off a Worry thing, or blow off a Marina thing, or whatever. Okay, they are not building your business. We are talking now about building your business. So there's a lot of events between right now, August, what are we at, 13th, and the first week in October. So maybe the next 6-7 weeks, okay, when Global is in San Antonio. So we got to look at it is we have in-person events, okay, and and that's including our one-on-ones and sharing the products and business with people daily. So here's my question to you, okay? And you guys know, if you're on our trainings, April and I are very, very open and honest with you. Sometimes I can be brutally honest with you. And I don't mean anything by that in a negative way. I'm trying to help you, because I don't think there's one of us that's completely satisfied with our check, our volume, our trip points for, you know, the Dominican Republic. I think we all want to do better. Then even if we're on a good roll, we still want to do better. So the only thing, as I've said in the past, that LifeVantage pays us for is enrolling new customers or new distributors. Then we also can get paid by training and developing our team once we have a team. Okay, so the most important thing that we can be doing is our one-on-one activity in person and what we're doing with people personally on a daily basis. That means I'm going to ask you a question. Today, Sunday, August 13th, did you share your products and business with somebody today that you had not shared it with before? It's just a yes or no question for your own mind. That's all it is. If it's yes, good, and maybe you did it more than once. If it's no, then don't let it happen 2 days in a row, and make sure you do talk to a new person tomorrow about them. And then the events, like I mentioned, that we're building for are locally, okay, then nationally, globally, and then we have our online stuff, social media stuff like Facebook, Instagram, and our Zooms. So an example, and I'm going to use me in April right now, okay, what we're looking at for the next few weeks. So this Wednesday, we're in Orlando. It's an all-in event for San Antonio, and Lynn Nay is the host, and April and I are the guest speakers. So we'll actually be doing the presentation this week in Orlando, okay? Then that's Wednesday night. Now, besides that, we have a lot of personal things scheduled this week, whether it's tennis with April, pickleball with both of us, or pickleball with me, or whatever it is. We have a lot of in front of people stuff where we'll get the opportunity to share what we have, because we will be in front of people, not in front of a computer screen, where we're not communicating messages with people. And there's nothing wrong with being in front of a computer screen if you're in Messenger and you're going back and forth with people about what you got and their needs and their wants, and offering solutions to people to, life and what's going on. So Orlando this Wednesday. Now, Monday is our monthly collagen launch, okay? And I want to tell you, a lot of people enrolled after last month's launch. And we had around, I don't remember, 50, 55 people on it. So let's build on that, folks, okay? Monday night, 8:30, I've texted it out. I've posted it in the group. I've given it to Fred. You've seen it. It's the same ID number that you're on right now for that launch. It's at 8:30. Get guests on there. Okay. There's nothing more exciting, folks, I'm telling you, because it's only 30 minutes, and there's nothing more exciting than seeing your guest on the screen with you. Okay. And them seeing you on their screen. There's nothing more exciting than that. I'm telling you, and we had a lot of people enroll last month. Matter of fact, there's people on tonight. I saw Jen Daughtry logged in. She's a brand new distributor. I still say distributor, consultant. Joined yesterday. Allison Saul sponsored her. They spent time in Ireland together. I talked to her right after the Zoom last week. Allie got her on the phone with me I think it was within minutes after the Zoom ended. And she just got involved with a business pack in our business, okay? Now, she knows that the launch got her attention, so all she needs to do now that she's in is get people she knows on it on Monday, and they're going to say, how'd you find out about it? And all she's going to say is, I watched the same thing you're watching, and I liked it, and I know the person well that invited me to watch it, and here I am, okay? So don't ignore the launch. But then on the 28th, we're going to Chicago. I don't think we mentioned that last week. And we just had a new doctor come in Chicago, and congratulations to Catalina. She got her in. But it's a doctor April and I have known for 20 years. Okay, they just joined the business with another doctor up there that is in the business. Okay. Then the 30th, we got Orlando again. Notice Orlando's every 2 weeks. And we're very fortunate. We have Brandon Cunningham coming to be the presenter. April and I are hosting the event on the 30th. Brandon will be doing the meeting and training. Okay. And then again, we're duplicating Orlando on the 13th and 27th in September. And everything is building towards San Antonio. So I'm going to give it to April now, but I want you to think about how simple this can be. You do your personal one-on-one stuff every day, and you get people invited to whether it's a Zoom or an in-person meeting. Now, I'm going to share one secret with you. If you're not at the live meeting, don't expect anyone else to be there. Now, I understand if it's long distance, meaning like if I'm inviting to someone an event in California, but before that event happens, if I got somebody that is going to attend, I'm going to make sure that they're on a three-way thread with me and the person that's going to warmly greet them in California because I didn't make a 3,000-mile trip. You know what I'm saying? So the preparation that goes into determines the percentage of success that happens. And everything is building towards global. And then the company will be announcing a new schedule October through the end of the year. Okay. I know right now it's 5 states, but I've heard it could be as many as 10 states for the next 3 months after global. So anyway, let me stop sharing here. April, you're up.
Yep. Yeah. How's everybody doing? You doing good? Hope you had a good weekend.
Sorry if I took some of your stuff, April. We didn't compare notes. We just had the same topic. So I'm sorry if I did.
It's fine. It's easy. It's all good. So, it's funny when I think about events, 2 things. And I want you to listen to this because you may have already said you saw San Antonio, you saw Orlando. That kind of discounts me out. Maybe I'll look at the blue calendar. I think San Antonio is a must, and you still have 7.5 weeks. So, whenever Bobby and I look at our business, we look at it like the company really is only responsible for shipping our products and paying us. And everything else is truly on us. And that's how we plan our business. So, this one is 7.5 weeks out. Take a little bit of money each week, make your airplane reservation first, get your registration. If you piecemeal it together, if you plan on going, I know I kind of got into this month kind of slow, and I felt like I hadn't really recruited anybody for like 2 weeks stretch there. And then the company gave us this notice, and our goal is always at 3-in-1. It's MVP 3-in-1. We keep in line with the things. Those are the things that are always on my mind. A lot of months do more happen. Yes. We just had a bunch of people sign up. And when I look at the people that signed up, and 2 of them just today, totally random people that I'd been talking to that all of a sudden raised their hand and said, today's the day. And so I kind of want to go over how we think about that. But 7.5 weeks, I'm guessing somewhere around there, 7-8 weeks, you've got time to plan to go and to find the money for that. And if there's a will, there is a way. I almost wish the company had something like, do you remember years ago, you had the coupon books for Christmas and you put money away each week did any of you have that? Your bank had that? Maybe I'm too old. It's going way back, but we used to have a coupon book that every week you put money aside
for Christmas savings, right?
Yeah, it started January 1st. You started putting money away for the next Christmas. And that's how we need to think about it, because this one is only 7-8 weeks away. The next big company meeting is 18 months out from this. It's April of 2024.
No, there's one, but there's a one in next spring.
It's more local.
It's not a global. It's not global.
Yeah, it's not a global. So, but these bigger meetings are meetings that you really can't miss. This is where you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck that you need to, personally be there yourself. But, when we talk about events don't just mean all these bigger meetings. They don't mean stuff that's just on the blue calendar. They don't mean the Orlando meeting. They don't even mean just the San Antonio meeting. You can create events. A lunch can be, and I've talked about this before, you create a lunch, you create a coffee. You'll find that it is much easier after you've spent some time with somebody, even if it's an old friend, warming it up on the phone, warming it up on a Zoom. We did a Zoom with an old friend of ours in the car down to, where we were going away for the few days. I mean, so just to kind of warm up that old stuff and just say, get to know her, get to know what's going on with her family and stuff. Those are the things you need to create, those events leading into events. The events are going to be super important. That's where people get that, what I feel is motivation, and they get that motivation through knowledge. There's nothing worse, and this was always a pet peeve with me. I would go spend 2-3 days at a conference and I'd be really excited. And what comes to mind with me was originally many, many years ago, I listened to Tony Robbins, and big name, everybody knows Tony Robbins. And I had his cassette tapes in the car going to and from my day job, my like kind of 9 to 5 type of thing. And it was exciting, but he never told me how to do it. He didn't give me a vehicle to do it. So, that's what I look for when I'm learning from somebody. So when you go to a LifeVantage, the knowledge is motivation. It's giving you the information you need to be able to go out. And maybe it's just creating that positive proof that other people are actually achieving this. There's somebody in front of the room that has done really well. There's a lot of people in the room that have literally made, a couple hundred to a couple thousand each month in their business. And so, you get that social proof from them. You also get connections with other people in the business that can keep you on the up and up if you want. Like I know I can look at Zoom. I see Zoomers right here. I know her and Jay have a special relationship. I know Joanne, if she's on here, has a special relationship with other people. There are people in the group, they're separate lines, but they know they can reach out and say, does this sound dumb? Or did you hear what I hear? Or how are you doing that? Those relationships are very important. And when you go to a bigger meeting, you get that from all over the country. So now, if you've got a meeting going on in Kansas City, you know who the leader is there. You can get on Facebook if you don't have their number, kind of introduce yourself. And LifeVantage has that culture through those connections. But if you stay home, you never make those connections that can be vitally important to your business when you do look at that blue calendar and see who do you know in different areas and get somebody. It creates rapport also through the stories. And you've heard us talk about product stories, but maybe it can be the way that, somebody needed to replace their income. I know years ago, Bobby and I, a lot of times we talked about, how we replace that income that first year, the struggles that we had going from 2 traditional businesses to this one very untraditional business. And thank goodness we did it. But, people could really relate to that. So, it helps people become a product of the products. They learn more about the products. There's nobody, I know another motivation for me this month was when they came out and they said, if you do the 3-in-1, you get the new product ahead of time. They're going to ship it to you. I'm like, I'm in because I know the
Yeah,
fab.
instead of a tote bag or something, you were getting the new product and get to use it right away. Yep.
Right. I was excited about that. So, that made me go to work even more. So, I want to get that product first, like I know the FAB has it, but, I certainly want to get that. You also learn the direction of your company. Are they doing any new studies or, what's going on? Are they ringing the bell somewhere or something? All that information you use in sharing with other people to get the attention for them to look further at your business. So, that all can be kind of important there as well. So I'm going to tell you to invite. And so, that's kind of the why, how are we going to do this? You need to look at all the different events for yourself. And again, this is on you. You do not need to do what Bobby and April are doing. If you're in an area and there's an event that you can use that's good for you, then you put that on your list.
And
then
if there's no event, you create one.
Yes. And then if you don't, you create one, but you put that on your list, that's on your mind. And now you're going to try to figure out who you can invite to that. And I'm going to tell you how I do my inviting and stuff, but we're networking, and you've heard me say this before. Your lists, your contacts, your email, your text lists, Facebook contacts, your lists. You need lists in this business. I almost wish we'd go back. It's primitive, but when we all got involved, we had to make those lists of 25 to 100. Sounds dumb in the beginning, but if you keep those lists, you can keep going over them. And when I look at one girl was just a totally new girl. The one other customer that signed up I'd not been in touch with him for quite some time. And the other lady was kind of a lukewarm Facebook contact. So totally random. You just don't know where these contacts are going to go, but it's on your mind that this month I'm going to get 3 customers and 1 consultant, 3 customers that do 100, 1 consultant that does 150 with those new packages. That's kind of a no-brainer. But if it's on your mind, if you are planning, that's going to happen. And you're not going to know where it's going to come. So when you look at a meeting, you're like, I'm going to have somebody at that meeting. It's on my mind that I'm going to have someone. And it just seems that you're able to do that. But if you're not planning and you've kind of discounted yourself out and don't think it's going to work, don't do it. Don't take all the meetings. Take 1 or 2 and focus on those 2 and prove me wrong. You know, if you sincerely go at your contacts, and, you know, a lot of it, when you talk to different people, it's going to be, you know, some are interested in travel. So, you know, I might say something like, you know, oh, hey, you know, we're going down to San Antonio. We got a company trip. We're going to have a lot of fun. We got an Airbnb. We're going to have some wine. I had a girl just last week. I'll tell you that story in a minute. And people are like, great, I'm in. What are we doing? Company event. You're going to hear more about my products, meet a lot of great people. That's all they need. They love to travel, you know, so it's a social thing. There was a girl last week. I literally met just online. I've never met her before. We're talking about the collagen. I'm talking about sampling her the collagen. And then I had to cancel. I couldn't meet her. So I said, you know what? I'm so sorry that, you know, I messed up my schedule. I'll send you 2 samples of collagen. She said, great. And can you send the sample of the wine too? So we're meeting before the Wednesday meeting or after to have wine in addition to that collagen, because it is a sip and glow. You know, that's how we kind of market it, sip and glow. It's collagen and wine. And so, you know, I'm like, she's my people. She's talking my language. So, you know, it created that rapport just, you know, based on that type of stuff. So you will have people go to meetings because they like to travel. They like to socialize. They like to drink wine. They want to make money. They want the products. They need the health benefits. You're going to have it all. So when you do your invites, you need to be aware that people are coming at you from all different directions. And that's how you do your invite. It has nothing to do with, you don't start with, you know, the company's been around this amount of years and we're doing, you know, $250 million and we have this product called Protandim. Nobody's into that. You know, we had a lady reach out that wanted to help us with the meeting. And Bobby and I were both on speakerphone with her. And she's like going through how many genes that the collagen has affected and how they did a study on each gene. I can be a product nerd, but even I was kind of like, oh my goodness, you know, so, you know, we have to make it more fun for people and easier. One of the rules that they always say when we're talking, whether it's on social media or you're typing an email or a text, no word should be over a 5th grade level, because this is where people are. They want things easy. If we make this hard, where they have to try to start Googling what I talked about with fibroblasts or something, they're not going to do it. You're going to lose them. So you want to always keep things easy. So, you know, again, I might say, you know, there's an event in Orlando. I know you don't live that far. It'd be great for us to meet up. I want to show you what I'm doing with my products and stuff. If you're, you know, talking about money, just say, hey, you know, I know we've talked about this before. Maybe you haven't even. Just say, you know, I got involved with something. I think you'd really appreciate this. It'd be great for us to spend some time. But there's literally going to be some people there that have made some serious money. Now, notice when I say serious, I don't ever isolate that nut to a number. Because if I say a number too big, I blow you out. If I say a number too small, I blow you out. So I always use words that are not absolutes. I always use the word big. And I learned this early on in this business. A gentleman had called me up that I was real excited about. And he said, I'm going to place a really big order. And I went running right to Bobby. I said, he's going to place a big order. We're excited. This is it. We hit the jackpot. You know, everything's going to be great. And he ordered 5 items. That was it, 5. So that was his big order. So I learned, you know, that term is very relative to different people and stuff. But, you know, and just personalize your invite to the person to be about what they're interested in. Again, not bringing it back to the company or whatever. And if you need help with an invite or whatever, you know, just reach out to me. It's going to be a little bit different for each person. But, you know, this business is so much more about relationships. And, you know, there was a time where we sent out these blanket, and maybe you still get them. You send out these blanket texts to people and stuff. Even on social, the 333 anymore is not working. It's moving along. People that are sending these semi-generic messages are not working anymore. things need to be personal. You need to take that time to do. Zuma had a great idea. I hope you don't mind if I share Zuma, but she's actually doing the birthdays on social, which is super great. It's a great way to touch base with all your contacts in any one year. But then she personalized not only her message, but then she goes back and she goes through their wall and she kind of posts, so that people get notifications that she's been, stalking their wall and stuff. And people absolutely love that. So, there are ways that you can talk to people all day long. There's no reason not to be having contacts, like I said, from all those different ways, whether it be emailing, text, social. Your personal phones are just a jackpot. You just got to use them, get those lists going so that you circulate and go around. And if you've ever got 5 minutes, you're just sitting there, scroll through your phone and you'll see, oh my goodness, I haven't talked to them in forever. Send them a message. Hey, how are you doing? I know it's been a minute, how's the kids? Are you still living in New York or whatever it is? Just get that conversation. And then it's always, oh, by the way, I might have something that you're interested in. Do you want to take a look? It really can be that simple. And then, make sure you do your follow up with it and stuff. So, but build your own events, use the company events, lots and lots of events. I know, again, I keep using Zoomer because she's like right in front of me, but she does a great job of doing events in her area. And it's so important these days to, just get out around people. Bobby and I, you've heard us before, we'll make it a challenge, who's going to, typically he gets the number. I think I was a little bit more friendlier this weekend, Bobby, than you. So anyway.
Yeah, wine will do that,
Anyway, back to you, Bobby.
So just one other thing, and then we'll open it up for any questions. But, I'm going to ask this again. Between Friday, yesterday, and today, how many new people did you share your products or business with? Oh, just how many? You know the truth. I'm not asking you to say out loud. I'm just saying we just have a tendency of just thinking we're working when we're not, okay, complicating it or putting it off to tomorrow. And all we need to do is reach out to a person and tell them what we're doing, okay? And if you like to do something that gets you around people, then do more of it. April and I love hanging at the beach. We do it as often as we can do it. We just changed where we went this weekend. But, we're going to talk to somebody that's going to show an interest that we can share information with wherever we go. Rarely, it happens because everybody strikes out once in a while, but rarely do we ever go out with intention and have not spoken to somebody. Okay, I'm not saying it happens, 100% of the time, but with us, it happens 80 to 90% of the time, and every once in a while we get a goose egg. It just happens. But if you'll keep it simple and remember the work. See, this being on here tonight, this is part of training, but this is not building your business. This is just helping you reset for what you could be doing when we hang up tonight or starting tomorrow morning. And, if you treat everything like an event, including reaching out, okay, to that next person. And the one thing that we have noticed, people become new again faster than they used to. And what I mean by that is you do not have to leave as much time in between for reaching out again. Okay, I remember when we got in this industry 30 years ago, it's like, if somebody actually said no to you, you might not reach out to them again for another year, okay, or something, or maybe longer. I mean, it was ridiculous, but remember, I'm going back, phones were still attached to the wall, okay? I'm going way back. But, now life changes so fast. People's circumstances change so quickly that there's nothing wrong with going back to someone you talked to a couple months ago and just say, how you doing? I hope whatever, and you have the notes of whatever you talked about last time, especially if it was text, email, or messenger, because it's there. It doesn't disappear, and you just go back into the conversation. Hey, I'm sure everything's going great. I just came across your name and wanted to check in, and and you drip on them a little bit on what's changed in your life since you last talked to them. But you know, folks, I'm telling you, if we will keep this simple and make sure that we do a couple reach outs every day to a new person, you'll be amazed at what happens in what period of time. I'm telling you, you'll be amazed by it. So, and the one thing nobody's got, and I get not everybody may have an event in their area, and not everyone might have the courage to be the event. So I understand that. Okay. But I'm going to tell you to grow a set and find the courage. Okay. Number one. And number two, we got Zoom. Like we have our collagen launch once a month where you know the screen's going to be full. I call it the Hollywood Squares. It's going to be full. Don't ever let one of those go by without you having guests on them. You know, it's next Monday. So a week from tomorrow. And, you know, when they say, okay, you got to make sure you confirm and then reconfirm the day of this. You know, we've gone through that before, but make sure that you have guests on. You don't have to do anything other than have somebody on the screen that's yours. April and I'll do the presentation like we generally do. Okay. You just got to invite people on to watch. Okay. And I'm telling you, if we keep this simple, folks, your business will grow. Everybody's looking for what we got. They just don't know it. We know the secret and they don't. And they'll never know it unless we let them know. Otherwise, they'll never know. And if you don't think that's true, I'm going to share this with you and we'll open it up. We were with our other company for 25 years. 8 of those years, LifeVantage was in business. We were in business at the same time for 8 years. LifeVantage had already had its big spurt where it went to 200 million. That had already happened. Okay. And April and I never once heard of Protandim, NRF2, or LifeVantage, not one time. And we were with a wellness company, and most of our distributors were doctors. See, it's a secret until you make it not a secret with another person. We were in the industry full time for 8 years while LifeVantage existed, and we never once heard about the product or business. So we have to take the responsibility to share it. So anyway, let's open it up. If you have any comments on whatever we talked about tonight, go for it. You got to unmute. I had everybody muted. So if you want to ask a question, unmute yourself.
Very good.
Nah, I don't buy that. There's 35 people on here. Somebody's got something to say.
Hey, Bob, is my mic coming through?
Yes.
Whoever's talking, I hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's Fred. So great training. I love how you just keep it to the basics. And, you know, we follow this, you know, people follow this, that you're going to have success. And you're right, we do overcomplicate it, especially I think today. Back in the day when we were in Amway, and you know, it was pretty simple, right? And the culture was maybe it was different, but it was, you know, you just went to events. It was events and building to events and one-on-ones, everything you talked about today. And you know, so, and look at what that company did, right? They're still the largest company. Who ask a question? Who's been approached by Amway in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, right? Like, no.
Hey, I got one for you, Fred. You know, April and I were married very, very young, and we were house sitting for a wealthy older couple. That was our first living arrangements. And the one requirement they had is we had to buy this special soap. Okay. we were 19, 20 years old. Okay. Yeah. And like, whatever, just, you know, we just had to order this special soap when you had to do your laundry or whatever. And I mean, right from that point on, we had never been approached by Amway. Right. And they've been around a zillion years. They're doing 7, 8, 9 billion a year.
$1 billion. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's my point. So it's a secret until you don't, you know, I remember one of the tapes, this is kind of fits in a little bit, but it says you can stand on a street corner and say, do you want some soap? Do you want some soap? Do you want some soap? And eventually someone's going to think you said you want some dope and say yes. So yeah, but just tell me, I digress over, but just perfect training. You guys do it, bring a home run every Sunday night. So thank you.
Appreciate that. And I know Allie is on here and Jennifer. So Jennifer, I just want to wish you welcome aboard, and hopefully you'll join us in San Antonio. But welcome to the team. You got a great partner there with Allie and her sister Angie, and April and I are looking forward to helping you with your business. So don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah, you want to know, folks, it's so much fun. You know, we were just chilling out for 3 days at a really nice place, going to nice restaurants and stuff for the weekend. And it's really cool when you get text messages that new people are enrolling consultants on packages, and then you get 3 new ones yourself over the weekend from what had gone on, you know, prior to you getting there. And then you meet prospects while you are there. If you just get in the mindset, you know, I call it, make sure your antennae are on to send signal and receive signal. Your antennae need to be working. You get your, you know, the magnet where it's drawing instead of pushing. I'm telling you, it's magical, this business. And when your team starts duplicating it, it's the greatest feeling in the world. But we have to do the basics, which is talk to a new person. You know, do just one a day, just one new person a day, from social, from your phone, from your email, text message, whatever. And you'd be amazed at how that snowballs into a lot of different stuff. And it's so much fun when
that goes back to that funnel training, and maybe we need to do that at some time. That funnel at top needs to be full of lots of people. And we just never know when that, if you can imagine all these different colored marbles, and we never know what color is going to fall through. They're just in there, they're hanging out, and all of a sudden one comes through. And so that's how you just need to keep putting stuff in that funnel.
You know, April mentioned this, we were driving down, and it's about a 2.5 hour drive from Orlando where we went for the weekend. And she says, hey, I got to get on a Zoom with someone while we're in the car. And I said, well, just hook it up to your phone, hotspot it, it don't matter, you know, and get them on. And this person had just spent months in the Philippines. She is Filipino. Okay. She lives in this country, but she's Filipino. All her family and kids and everybody's in the Philippines. And we've known them for 20 years. They're in the business with us way back in the first company, way back. And I'm just thinking, I'm driving. April's got the laptop open on her lap. She tilts it towards me so I could say hello, you know. I said, I need to watch the road. I'm on 95. I can't talk to you, you know, but it's gotten easier, folks, to do business. You know, even when we're going out somewhere, your phone is going with you. I'm not saying you take your laptop with you. It's just we're in the car and April was able to do it that way. But we don't have any excuses, because we don't have to be in that hotel meeting every Tuesday night and Saturday morning like it used to be. We have our phone now that does everything. And that the only excuse is we didn't think about it. Maybe you don't have it in your calendar, in your phone. You should set up every day, first priority, talk to a new person about LV. And if you have to put it in your phone and have it remind you hourly until you do it, have it remind you hourly until you do it. And then before you know it, after 2 or 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. That is what happens, folks. It takes they say 21 days, but 2 to 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. And then you don't need to be reminded anymore. You'll just do it. But who else? Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Everybody going to San Antonio? If you're not, you have 7+ weeks to get there. Let tonight change your mind to go. Okay. And get it in your budget to be there. Okay. Airfare has been, you know, when I've looked for other people, it's been very reasonable. I know a lot of people are driving in, you know, from different areas. Just depends on where you are, but we're flying in, you know, because we're Florida. It's a little too much of a drive from here, but You know, a lot of people are doing Airbnbs. The company just got some additional hotel rooms that I think to the end of the month. They're not cheap, but they're in the 200 plus range, you know, 250. They're not giveaways, but you know, if you're sharing a room with somebody, it's not bad. But just decide. And if you haven't been, you know, if you weren't at the last June, the what did they call that when we launched the collagen? I don't know. They've been given things new names, but you know, the event last June, or if you weren't in New Orleans in March, you can't miss San Antonio, because the next global is 18 months later. There will be an event in the spring, but you know, it'll be a regional event, you know, in March or April. But the next global isn't going to be for 18 months. You just can't afford to miss this one. So, you know, you still got 7 weeks. So find a way to get yourselves there. And, you know, for the Canadian group, we always do things as a group. Our team, whatever we're up to down there, we'll let Fred know what's going on. And if you want to tag along, join us, party, you're all welcome. So but we have fun down there. You should have seen what we did in New Orleans, man. We went to see ghosts. We were doing that. We did all kinds of crazy stuff in New Orleans. Of all the places in the world that we've been, we had never been to New Orleans other than switching planes in their airport. Okay, but we had never been there for a length. We had a blast there. So, and San Antonio, we're more familiar with. You know, going back a number of years, we hung out there a lot, and that is a cool city. That Riverwalk area is just really, really cool. So, make your decision if you haven't already to be there. So, anyone else? Ira, you're good, right? I know you just got a new person last week too. I'm looking at a lot of people that have signed people up recently, but let's, you know, it's time, you know, the summer's winding down. I don't know about you, by us, they're back in school. Okay. In Florida, you go back early. Okay. And I think Texas went back already also, but you know, the summer's winding down no matter where you are. Up in New York, they wait till after Labor Day to go back to school, but, you know, it's time to get busy again, you know, and really focus on now through the end of the year. And we'll get that big boost in San Antonio, that adrenaline that April was talking about. So anyone else? All right, we'll get this trimmed up.
Wait, I think Jennifer wants to say something.
Oh,
Mhm. I was
Come on
just
in.
going to say hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer, and I'm super excited to be with you guys. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm excited to do it.
Well,
I
I'll give you an early secret. You stay excited and you talk like to other people like you just talked to us. And they're gonna say one thing, whatever you're on, I want to be on.
I'm on a couple things, but
Well,
I
you get them on a couple things. And it's okay. Welcome aboard, Jen. We and hopefully we'll meet in San Antonio. I hope you can work.
I'll be there.
Good.
But yeah, I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
We're
Welcome.
glad you did. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. You know, we're back home if you guys need anything, but we'll get this edited and posted in the group. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Bye-bye.